Ashwamedha Yajna has been a controversial topic in Hindu Vedic procedures with many versions of how the yajna is conducted. Whatever the interpretations and meanings evolved as per the different understandings and comprehension of the original Sanskrit text, it remains to be one of the highly regarded yajnas. It is a complex yajna as it was enormously expensive, requiring the participation of hundreds of individuals with specialized skills, hundreds of animals for preparations and sacrifices, involving many precisely prescribed rituals at every stage. It is such a complicated and powerful yajna that it can only be conducted by either gods or highly acclaimed elite kings, already with proven record of greatness in all respects. The successful completion of this yajna results in taking the greatness of the person to a very high level where all his sins and shortcomings are removed completely. He will be a revered and a blessed person by one and all, and will be declared an undisputed sovereign king. It was said that in those days the sages who conduct such sacrificial yajnas used to be very powerful and pure. They are very well versed in all Vedic procedures. They could use the power of mantras to everyone's benefit selflessly. The procedures of such great yajnas are so pure that gods are invited to attend. Some places it is mentioned that the sacrificed horse would be healed and rejuvenated with the chanting of healing verses of the Vedas. Anyhow, the animals thus sacrificed are said to be reborn with more vigor. If such great sacrificial yajnas are not performed properly, there are high chances of detrimental effects on all living beings in general. Hence, it is said that such powerful yajnas are prohibited in modern days, as no one is so learned in the procedures and techniques, nor so pure and powerful to get the desired benefits in Kali Yuga. It is said that only two Ashwamedha yajnas were conducted in last 1,000 years. The most recent ritual was in 1741, the second one held by Maharaja Jai Singh II of Jaipur. The coins excavated from the Gupta era between 350 and 455 AD also shows that the great kings Samudragupta and Kumaragupta have conducted these rare Ashwamedha yajnas. In history, horse sacrifices are always kept at a higher pedestal than the other sacrifices. Many Indo European groups show evidence for horse sacrifice. Most appear to be done along with funerals or burial procedures, but in some cultures there is tentative evidence for such rituals to be associated with kingship. Though Ashwamedha is the clearest evidence preserved, it is said that some remnants from ancient Latin and Celtic, meaning Western European traditions, suggest a few common practices and characteristics. In Western European Celtic traditions, a similar ritual is found in which the king conducts a rite of symbolic marriage with a sacrificed horse. The October horse, a Roman horse sacrifice, was an annual event and apparently the only time horses were sacrificed rather than cattle or smaller animals in Rome. On the 15th day of October, a horse race was conducted and the winner was sacrificed to Mars, the Roman god of war and agriculture. Horse sacrifices were also performed among the ancient Germans, Armenians, Iranians, Chinese, Greeks, among other traditions. Now let us talk about the Ashwamedha Yajna King Dashratha conducted in order to rise above his misery and be blessed with heirs for his throne. After King Romapada accepted to send Rishasringa along with Dashratha to help in conducting Ashwamedha at Ayodhya, Dashratha along with his daughter Shanta and son-in-law Rishasringa returned back to Ayodhya. When the climate turned pleasant and suitable for Ashwamedha in Vasanta Rutu, the spring season, Dashratha requested Rishasringa to guide him in conducting Ashwamedha. Rishasringa accepted and started preparations for the yajna. An auspicious location north of river Sarayu was selected as the place to conduct the yajna. As per the procedure, after the required pujas, the king sent out a white stallion with suitable escort to protect it from any harm to roam freely wherever it goes for a period of 1 year. The ruler or princess of any kingdom the horse enters will have two options, either to accept the greatness of the king and pay him respects, or stop the horse and reject the superiority of the king. Such ruler has to fight with the king's army and win over them. Otherwise, he will lose both his kingdom and life. Ashwamedha will be over when that horse returns back after roaming around in all countries, when all the rulers have accepted the superiority of the king or they have been won over. The horse sent by Dashratha has wandered in all countries for a year and then returned to Ayodhya with no enemies left out. After the required pujas and activities, the principal queen Kausalya paid respects to the horse and then sacrificed it to the gods as part of the yajna. After 3 days of continuous pujas, Ashwamedha yajna was completed successfully. Dashratha, pleased with the yajna, offered land, jewelry, and cows to the sages and Brahmins who conducted the yajna. They refused the land as they cannot stay at one location, but accepted other gifts which will contribute to the continuation of their penance. Rishasringa went to Dashratha and told him, O dear king, with the successful completion of Ashwamedha, you are cleared of all your sins and problems. Now you are sure to get the sons you always aspired for. I would suggest you to do another yajna called Putrakameshti to get further support from gods in getting your desire for great sons fulfilled. Dashratha accepted and immediately started Putrakameshti yajna. We shall know more about how Putrakameshti was conducted and the consequential events in the next episode. Sarve Jana Sukhino Bhavantu.